Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make some modular double swinging doors as a continuation to my modular door series that I'll be working on. So take a look. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me down below, or you can always reach me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. And before you go, don't forget to check me out, as well as Wylock, Jim, Jake, and John. Get that one right first time around, as we do our Seekers of Saloon. It's a mini campaign that Wylock is DMing for us every Tuesday night starting at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I hope to see you there, and have a great one with this, and I'll see you later. Bye! A list of supplies can be found in the description below. Links are provided whenever possible. In order to make these doors, the first thing you want to use is corrugated cardboard, and this is necessary for this particular build. You cannot use something like cereal box cardboard. You want those corrugations to run on the horizontal line because you're going to use the openings of these corrugations to attach those little screws that you see by these doors. So what you want to make sure is, with the corrugation running horizontally, that you cut out two panels that measure 1 inch wide by 2 inches long, and make sure you have two of them. Then what you'll do with your hot glue gun is you're going to attach these eyelet screws into an opening of corrugation on the side portion of these doors, and those are going to act as your hinges once everything is assembled together. To get the look of wooden planks on your door, you're going to use those wooden coffee stir sticks. What you want to do is run a thin line of glue from top to bottom near where the hinges are, and then place one of these stir sticks up against the edge of your door panel. Do make sure you have overhang on either side because it will make for easier trimming later on. You want to work these sticks across the front of your door panel from one edge to the other. When you have everything laid out and ready, and you have your sticks all covering the front panel of the door, you want to make sure that you trim away everything evenly. The easiest way to trim away those coffee stir sticks is to have the door facing front side down, and then run your X-Acto knife along the edge where the cardboard and the wood planks meet each other, and just keep running that knife until all the planks release away from the door. And of course you want to make sure that you do the same thing to the other side of the door as well, and make sure you trim from both top and bottom. When you have the front and back of the door taken care of, you do want to address the edges. So I recommend that you first take care of your top edge and bottom edge of your door. Again, using a thin bead of hot glue, you're going to place a plank on top of that section of cardboard to hide the corrugation. And then you are going to do the length side edge, the part where the hinges are not placed, and you're going to also put another plank there. The next step is to add some visual interest to the doors by adding a Z pattern to the front and back panels of your door. What I did in this case was I pre-measured the top and bottom panels that I would need for the coffee stir sticks, and I attached those on with the E6000. When that dried enough, I then took the length strip on the diagonal, and a little trick that helps here is to place the coffee stir stick on top ahead of time, mark off where you're going to need to trim away the excess wood, and then taking the E6000 again, you're going to glue this piece of wood onto the front facade and the back facade of the door if this is a style that you want to go with. You are more than welcome to do a different design on the front and back of the door if you so choose, or you could even just leave them with the up and down vertical panels. And while you might notice the wood panels underneath the hinge area of the door, I decided to pop those off later on one door especially, because it did get in the way of the mechanics of it. So you don't need to put any panel where the hinges are, but you do want to run a thin bead of hot glue just to kind of seal off that side of the door. For the side panels, you do want to use cereal type cardboard in this case, and you are going to cut out panels that are 1 inch wide, and they will end up being 2.5 inches long. But the first thing I did was set this panel up next to one of the doors. I notched off where the hinges sit on these doors, and then using one of the coffee stir sticks that had a pre-marked edge on it, I used that to help me figure out where the notches were going to be, and then cut everything out according accordingly. The next thing you want to make sure you're doing is making a mirrored image of this panel with the same type of cardboard. Once you have that done, you are then going to take a toothpick, run it through the hinges of your door, and then place the toothpick along the edge of the wrong side of one of these panels and run some hot glue along the cardboard and the toothpick so that the two of them will adhere together, making sure that you avoid the hinge area of the door. The next thing you want to do is take the mirror image piece of cardboard, and you are now going to put hot glue on the one side of the door everywhere except again where the hinge areas are, because you don't want those to get sealed together too tightly. You're then going to place the mirror image right side out so that you have these two panels, so it's just plain cardboard on either side with the toothpick adhered between the two, and your door should be swinging at this point. The thing with using that coffee stir stick is that it gives you some play up and down with your door so that you don't have to worry about things getting slightly off kilter should something move or wiggle around on you. It gives you a little playroom for the hinges. Finally, the last thing you're going to do with these panels is mark off so that they measure a 1/2 inch wide from the edge where the hinges and the toothpick are to the outer edge, and then you are going to trim away any excess cardboard. It is easier to take it this way just in case your previous panels don't match up exactly. You can finish off that edge a little bit better by trimming away any excess material at this point. To add the upper wooden beam, you're going to take a classic popsicle stick and you are going to use your hot glue gun and first attach it to one side of the side panels, making sure you have enough overhead space for the door to be able to swing open and closed. And then you will line up the other door alongside of your one door and then attach the popsicle stick to the other panel to the other door. And that way your two doors are now attached together with everything acting as one unit. You're then going to flip over your unit of doors and you're going to apply a second popsicle stick to the other side so that you have your top beams running along both sides. And to hide that gap in the top, simply place another wooden coffee stir stick on the top using your hot glue gun. To add the brick detail, I did use foam core for this, and what I did was cut out strips that were a 1/2 inch wide. But when it comes to cutting out the bricks themselves, what I made sure to do is cut them in almost a very thin wedge-like shape, because what you're going to do is, in a sort of subway tile pattern, is start placing these bricks on the side panel working from the hinges out, but you want to make sure that the thinner part of the wedge cut is facing in towards the hinges to give your doors some extra swing room that may not be there if you use a full cut size of the foam core. So make sure you do have a thinly sliced piece of foam core to act as your brick, and then you're just going to alternate the seams on the tiles again to look like a subway tile layout. And when you finish getting from bottom to top, you will then turn it over to the other side. When the other side is done, you can then take just simple cuts of foam core from the same 1/2 inch cut of foam core that you've already got going, and just add some bricks that go up along the edge of the side panels to hide off any further evidence of cardboard on the outer portions of this door panel. And of course you want to make sure this happens to both panels on both sides. And at this point you can now take any type of item you wish to give a little texture to the bricks if you so choose. You can use the wire brush, you can use a toothbrush, you could even take up some crumpled tin foil. For the brickwork on this piece, I actually used the leftover base coat I had from my portal door project, which you may have already seen. So in that case, you mix equal parts matte Mod Podge, English Navy, and pavement, and then you apply it to the bricks and make sure that dries completely. And for the wood section, I basically just took a dark brown paint, mixed that in with some Mod Podge, and I put that onto any area that had wood. Now you may find, depending on how dark of a wood tone you want, you might need to do a second layer of this base coat, but this is how I got the brown colors onto the wooden areas of the doors. When your base coats are dry, you are now going to move on to doing a dry brush technique for the next sequence of paints, and we will start first with the brickwork. But these are the colors you're going to want. You want coffee latte, dark gray, sterling silver, and nutmeg brown for these color sections. The first color we're going to work with is the dark gray, and using a dry brushing technique, you are going to work this color onto the brick wherever you have brickwork done. Once that has dried enough, you are then going to move over to the coffee latte and do the same thing. Again, let that dry and then proceed over to the sterling silver and add that to the brickwork. And you want to make sure that dries completely. Then what I did once that was dry is I took the nutmeg brown and I painted that on to the areas where there was wood, just to give it a good coating, about an 80% coverage, not full coverage, but just enough to deepen the tone of the brown. Then at this point, you want to make sure everything is dry. When you know your paints are dry, I then took a mixture of pavement, thinly watered out with water, and I did a wash over everything and let that dry overnight before proceeding on to adding the highlights. To bring out the details of the brickwork, I used the granite gray, and I did a very light dry brushing to bring out the higher areas of the stone, and the lower areas I made sure to go along the edges just to bring those out a little bit as well. When you're done with that section, let it dry a little bit and then move over to using that coffee latte again, but this time you're going to dry brush over anywhere you have your wood details. Again, same concept, bring out those details just a little bit more and allow everything to dry completely. As you may have seen done before in both the portal video as well as the bear trap videos, you're going to use a clear sheet of plastic, and this is plastic I use from fruit and vegetable containers. You're going to cut out a rectangle that fits underneath the entire piece and hot glue it onto the piece itself. Now what you want to do is cut out a notched area where those side panels are and cut that area away so that you really only have plastic sticking out further where the doors swing open and close. You want to make sure there's about an inch on either side and that the width of this opening area is no more than 2 inches, and you're going to see why in the final look. And here we have the final look of our doors, and I wanted to show you this setup on our Wylock dungeon tiles. And as you can see here, we have the doors closed and then they can swing open freely either direction, and it's a really neat effect to have. We did put this to use on our campaign session the other weekend, and it was a lot of fun to have the doors burst open and the bad guy come through, that type of thing. And the thing that I like about this is even if you aren't using the Wylock style tiles, you can use them on other style terrain that you may have in your collection because of that clear piece of plastic. Don't forget to make sure that you stay tuned. I'm going to have a few other style doors that I'm going to share with you for this project, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions, please feel free to ask me down below, or you can email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. If you've liked this video, just make sure to hit that like button and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. Thanks very much for stopping by and have a great one. A big thanks to Matthew Hennigan for becoming a channel champion on Patreon. Don't goose me. Oh my gosh. How'd you know? How'd you know? Huh? Just got your magic sensor on for when I'm filming? Silly. Tickling my feet. Well, today's video is going to be a continuation. A continuation of this one. Hi. Yeah, I'm filming. What'd you want? Camera's that way. Terrain you might need. And here he comes again. Hello, how are you? Up or down? Up or down? Good thing you're cute. Cooper. Okay, here's my mouth. You're cute, but you're shedding. And welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a continuation of the portable what? The portable doors.